Before we wander on into the episode, I just want to make sure that everyone goes out there and hits up the YouTube, check out the Spotify, check out Apple, wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, is to go down, like it, subscribe, hit the bell if it's YouTube. Make sure you're getting those reminders. We do put these out every week, so make sure you do all that. It helps us out, and in the long run, we can make better things. So again, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And inflation's going up too, so that is really just getting a better value as it sits. So maybe if you find it, you kind of just want to sit on it right now.
You find it, you put it in grandma's attic. Grandma passes away, and you say, "Oh my gosh, she's the keeper of the gold box."
There you go.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility? Clink. I think one of my favorite things that happened recently is the fact that Matt Buddy didn't clink at all.
Yeah, no, he was weird about it. And I even told him to beforehand, and he didn't.
Yeah.
I said, go get your water bottle so we can clink.
He's done a clink before, too.
Yeah. No, he's a piece of trash, as we've come to realize now. Welcome back to Wandering Ways podcast. If you're not familiar with that piece of trash we're talking about, that is Matt Buddy, who is on, I believe, one of the last episodes that you may have heard. Or if you're a new subscriber, he's been on quite a few. Go check those out. They are they're different, each one of them, because Matt Buddy's a unique, different guy. I don't know. What did you think? You listened to it. I listened to your solo sode today.
Yeah, no, I listened to was it top 5 tribal parks. Pretty good. I mean, it's hard to I don't know. We give Matt Buddy so much shit on here, especially if you're a frequent listener. But that's really his wheelhouse. He could talk, and he does a good job at talking about that kind of thing. So that's actually a different kind of Matt Buddy in that episode.
Oh, and it's great because the interesting thing is I don't know if you realize this, but I had to pull him back on a few.
Yeah. You can tell when you're listening to it, because I mean he can go when on very few subjects he can go off like that.
Well, and we had that kind of a conversation today. We're talking about reservations, and we're like, so you're telling me there's a bunch of Native Americans out here on the Great Plains, but there's no reservations on the plains in Colorado? And we just dove into it, and it's like, oh yeah, because the settlers were assholes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, well, we got into it because this old white lady, commented on Facebook, because I don't know if you saw. But what did you think of the Oregon BYU Mormon anti-Mormon chant?
Oh, but didn't they say "fuck you, Mormon" or whatnot?
Something like that. They were causing it, whatever. But I'm like, it's BYU. I'm sure they've heard it before.
Yeah, is it cool? No, it's not. Does the governor of Utah have to get involved? No.
Does the governor of Oregon have to get involved?
No. Just let the universities deal with it. Right. That's really about it. Again, is it right? No, it's not. Oregon should be better than that.
But do you expect any better from Oregon?
No, I don't.
And I bet you they weren't even fans that went to school there.
Oh, I heard it was the student section.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, we all know how Oregon works.
The student section is the student section, although it was before classes start, so who actually knows? But
no, it's an interesting school. But no, the reason, because I got into a discussion with this lady about reservations, and she basically was like, America declared war on the natives. I was like, they didn't declare war, they declared genocide and invasion. The natives weren't for war. They weren't arguing over something. It was
Yeah.
stealing, raping, and pillaging. Like there was no, yeah, we're fighting over this because this is bad, this is good. It's no, we want to take what is yours.
Yeah, 100%. My my rebuttal to that, and I'm not necessarily taking a side on this here, would be the example of what's happening in Ukraine today.
Right.
Right? Well, how would Ukraine phrase what's going on versus like Russia? How would they phrase? Russia's definitely would say it's a war to get their land back, or stop the crazy neo-Nazis, as Russia's saying, whereas Ukraine could very well say it's a genocide, they're coming here to steal type deal. So it's really kind of more of the side you're on what you're labeling it as, than I think necessarily what really happened. What really happened is what really happened. How you labeled it, I think, depends on the side.
Perfect. I like that. That's a good way of saying it, because you're absolutely right. And it was like she was trying to justify the treaties and stuff. And I was just like, one, there was no treaty with the Mormon religion and natives. And
Yeah.
two, like treaties, they're broken every day by the US government. So let's not even go there. I deleted the comment. I was over it. And I was like, I'm just going to listen to some Wandering Ways podcast. And I popped in your solo sode and it got me going. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I got to be a little better on the hikes. I'm prepared. The problem with me, I got to eat, man.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I'm bringing enough water, or a Life Straw water bottle that's going to be able to filter water for me, or a meal. Just be like, I'm going to bring one meal on this hike today, a sandwich, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and eat it at the halfway point of the hike.
Yeah, that, or you bring your oh shit snack, like you're like, I don't think I'm gonna eat, but I'm gonna bring something in case like I really want to munch down or something.
Maybe for you because you're better than I am, but for me, I'm gonna set the goal at bringing at least a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the minimum, just because that's going to make sure I don't puke.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's as easy as just throwing a couple protein bars in there.
I just need that doctor to invent a pill that's like, this is your meal for the day.
Yeah, it's really not that easy. I really honestly don't think we'll ever get that pill that everyone's like, I wish I could get all of my nutrients in like one little pill. Yeah, first off, that pill's gonna be like the size of a freaking the size of my microphone I use, or my hydro flask here. And in reality, you're probably gonna have to put it up your butt. So
yeah,
it's not like it's gonna be very enjoyable, because the reason why I say up there is because it absorbs better, and gets the bloodstream faster.
but you're not wrong. That is, I mean, it would be a repository, right? And isn't that what that's called?
Yeah, essentially.
But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah.
If you want that podcast, just search it wherever you get your podcast. But you're here to listen to nature. You're here to listen to another wonderful ABC.
Yeah, and we are continuing on our wonderful ABCs theme that we have with a park I did not know about until doing these ABCs, and learning about this park for this episode. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, but for anybody who hasn't read the title, it is Biscayne or Biscayne. I still don't know how to say it. National Park in Florida, southern Florida, down there in the Gulf. But yeah, I think it's Biscayne.
Biscayne, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm sure down there in Florida, however they talk down there, I'm probably doing a bad accent.
Yeah.
But they probably say it
more Louisiana.
Well, it's close, down there in the Glades, right?
Yeah. This one is close to the Everglades, so
it is, and it's also close to South Miami. So looking at that, I'm like, damn, when I was in Miami that time for work, how come I didn't like plan extra and go to this park, not realizing how close it is. But it also to me sounds like a park that you do want to do a little research before going to, because there's probably a reservation system for some of the things to do, some of the places to see, some of the campsites to use. So you're going to want to like dive into that, a couple months in advance before knowing and just understanding like what it is you're going to want to accomplish out of this park, because I think it is small, but it is close to a big urban center. So it's going to have the traffic not only out getting to the park, but I assume as well out on the water, because there's a lot to do out on the water in this park.
Yeah, for sure. Although I think the fact that because 95% of this park is water, so I think that could be a deterrent for some people.
Are you reading the same book I am?
No, I don't have a book.
That's literally the first sentence. You just like repeated the first sentence on the secrets to the national park, so you're giving them away.
Oh, well, they're not a secret anymore. If you listen to Wandering Ways, no more secrets. But no, but because it is 95% water, I think when you hear that, you're not as ready to go, hey, let's go check it out, unless you're into more specific hobbies, like if you're going to other parks that are mostly on land, you don't have to necessarily be into a specific hobby to enjoy that park, where you might need to be at this national park. Again, I'm not sure. I haven't actually been there.
Well, you're right. You're going to be doing water sports, and those do vary, right? You're going to attract different type of audience to those sports, right? I'm reading here, like because it's so close to Miami, a lot of people will just drive their boats to go park, take pictures of the skyline, just to watch the sunset, kind of do that. But they're probably missing out because below them sits the third world's largest coral reef.
Oh, the third.
Yeah,
Damn,
third, yes. Number three, top three.
that is
But
uh that is
it's
kind
the
of cool.
Yeah, no, and that's going to attract, your sharks, your birds, your fish, I mean, shipwrecks. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, you got old shipwrecks, new shipwrecks. They say there's thousands of years of history that park preserves, including some native history as well as, the history. There's a lot that happened in Florida if you're interested in American history with like the French, the Spanish, Cubans, Puerto Ricans,
Yeah.
that, just how it's evolved over the hundreds of years. Because, Florida was one of the first places in America when America, the continent, was starting to be conquered by the Europeans invading. That was one of the places, because they also sought like the fountain of youth. And I'm sure in some of these national parks, you can get some of that youth.
I mean, I'm sure there is that, but you are right. There is that like early on history about all the different, like, I don't want to say world powers at the time, but all the different, countries and different cultures that went into that area. And then, it is so close to so much because it is Florida, so you're close to the Bahamas, you're close to Cuba, you're close to what is it, isn't Indonesia down there? Because it
No, Indonesia's over by Australia.
no, there was down there because of the spice trade.
You got like Cuba, Puerto Rico.
I'm really blanking on it. It's gonna piss me off.
But this one's actually close to like Key Largo as well as the Florida Keys. I think it is actually a part of the Florida Keys in some way or another. You're looking it up on a map, huh?
Yeah, I'm because it's really bugging me that
Don't worry.
I can't remember what it is because it had to do with the early spice trade.
Oh, you got Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, maybe I'm high or something. I don't know.
The Bahamas, Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a specific island down there that like you're thinking of, not a country.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
who knows,
by
man?
the Caribbean.
But you're close. You're looking in that area. You're close. You're part of the Florida Keys. You're actually like the beginning of the Florida Keys from the Miami area, the easternmost kind of area of this national park. And that is something, people talk about is driving the Florida Keys as those big bridges out there. And this park could be either, the start to that or to the end to that. I think if you and I were to go down to this park, and that's kind of one thing I like about these ABCs of the parks we haven't been to is you and I are able to like get into these parks and have these discussions together. And I hope the wanderers enjoy. But like you look at like the Everglades, you look at Biscayne. I'm going to blank on the other park because I'm not focused on it right now. But over that way,
Yeah.
we would do a 3 cluster, it would be a Florida cluster because that's what you'd want to do. You'd want to knock it out because of time. And that's the sad thing is we never have enough time. So you got to make the most of it.
100%, that is. I think you're thinking dry tortugas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're right. We would that's the best part about these is we can get the clusters going with it. Because when you're going down there, if you are someone who's into the national parks, right, there's a lot of people out there that their goal is to see all of the national parks, and you want to do as much as you can in these parks. But if you like really, really devoted all of your time and like killed every national park, that'd be really tough, because you'd have to spend like a week in all of these parks, and so that's going to take years. And I mean, it's going to take years anyway to go to these parks, but if you can hit more than one, like we do in these clusters, you really turn it into just one small adventure. It turns into like a real long-term adventure where you can really make some great memories. And this is a park that you can really do that, because it's different because it is water and there's no elevation. I mean, it's like I think 9 feet total elevation in this park.
I think that's the lighthouse, right?
Yes, probably.
Which you can go. I think that it's one of the campgrounds. I believe that you can backcountry camp out is one of the lighthouses. There's some islands that.
Backcountry. What do you think that means? Do you think that means like you gotta swim
I think,
with it?
I think that's kind of the like national parks way of saying like you're going to need a permit for this.
Probably. Yeah, that's actually very true.
But I mean, I subpar parks, one of my favorite books, people trashing out our national parks. Probably one of your Miami tourists. No phone signal is impossible. So we're in the backcountry. You don't got cell phone.
You're not wrong there. A great way to help classify if it's backcountry is cell phone service, I guess.
Well, and it's not only that, it's the oh gosh, like the fact that like if you were in danger, like it's you and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and actually, well, one of them there's the Boca Chica, which I believe Boca Chica is actually down the Florida Keys away from the park, is one of the campgrounds. So it is kind of a ways out there.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I'm not too familiar with like Florida itself, so I don't know like a whole lot of what's inhabited, what's wilderness, but where did we set up these settlements? So I'm not too familiar with like where this park is. So it very well could be like out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I kind of know because I was looking at it.
Oh, you were
Yeah, I was
taking
doing
a
the whole I was looking at the maps, but I might be wrong. Who knows? There's the Elliott Key Campground too, which is another one in the park that is pretty cool to stay at. It looks like, just looking here at the pictures.
Yeah.
Um, which honestly, if we do it right, I would be down to camp in these parks. You don't have to get necessarily the hotels or the Miami prices of like an Airbnb necessarily.
100%. I think that'd be a huge perk, is going to the campsites. So that way you can save some money on the area. I think if I were to do, I think if I had like a magic wand to really do this park right, uh, I think I would need to get scuba certified. So that way it can like scuba dive and get in, because there's shipwrecks you can explore in this park. And I mean, how legit would that be to like swim in a shipwreck?
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the big attractions of this park.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like I'm thinking they say there's over 600 species of fish in this park.
I mean,
So,
that's another perk.
well, exactly. And there's iguanas too.
The iguanas, I've never seen a wild iguana. So that would,
Well, maybe we will down there.
yeah, but anytime you see iguanas, you got to think about Godzilla. You worry that Godzilla is real.
Dude, the only way that's going to happen is if the nuclear power plant starts leaking into the iguana's habitat.
Anything is possible in this world today. No, but I think scuba diving is really like, I think snorkeling would be really, really legit here. Like, do not get me wrong. But I think if you're looking to have like the best experience, if you're scuba certified and can get like down into the water, you're really gonna like this park. I think you'll have a blast probably if you're just snorkeling too. Also, to be fair, I've only ever been snorkeling once and I loved it because I just sat and watched like one coral reef the whole time. But I think for this one, getting in, seeing the different fish, seeing the shipwrecks, catching an iguana or two. Well, I mean, not literally catching one.
Can't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't try. Although it would be really funny to see someone like trying to swim after one.
Yeah, or another turtle, man. To be blessed with another turtle encounter would be pretty cool.
I bet there's some good turtles down there.
Dude, there's some good turtles everywhere in the ocean, and we got to keep it that way. But
Yeah.
I think so. I think, you had me thinking about getting scuba certified. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there is a place here in Billings. I could go do
certified.
that. Yeah. And low key, I'm kind of like thinking about it because, like, why not? Like, why limit ourselves on these adventures? Why not push the Wandering Ways boundaries? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I wanted to get scuba certified a while ago. One of the things I always kick myself at is I never did it in undergrad, because Oregon State offered that class where you can basically get scuba certified from. So that would have been really cool. My brother-in-law goes scuba diving all the time, and he like loves it. They go, I think he goes every year or it's every other year during spring break, and the shit he sees is phenomenal.
I'm on board. Let's I mean, if we're planning the trip that I think we're planning for next summer, let's throw that in there.
Get scuba well, maybe I'm gonna see how much it costs.
How long are the classes and when are the classes?
Yeah,
No.
that's the kicker.
Right? No, that makes sense, and that's why you got a kicker. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot to do, and what I would really like to see, when you're snorkeling or just snorkeling or scuba diving, is just the interactions you get when you can just sit there and the fish almost forget you're there. and then you get to observe these animals and these creatures in their natural patterns and paths. And if you're talking the world's third largest reef, and it's just sitting right there, right next to Florida, go check it out.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you're right there. No, I think this park, one of the reasons it is so unique is the shipwrecks. I'm going back to the shipwrecks essentially.
Go for it. Go for it. That's a huge part of this park.
Well, I know there's like 44 different ones, and so there's the different kinds of ships. I think there's probably from different eras and all of that. And I think I want to say we were talking about this before, but we were talking, about like, do you leave the ships like down there? Do you try and clean it up? And I brought up how like coral reefs can like use the shipwrecks to like build anew, because there's like one of the Planet Earth episodes where they start like building, or they drop a ship in to allow coral like a place to latch onto in this massive sand area.
I would like to think so. I mean, getting into this shipwrecks a little bit, there's a couple of things, right? You talk about the different eras of ships. That's earlier kind of when I was mentioning, like, you had like the wooden sail ships, the Pirates of the Caribbean ships.
Yeah.
You have the like early motorized boats. You have the like drug trade boats. You have the modern day yachts and boats that are used, and they sink, right? So they're all there. What I think about is like, what I would hope for, I guess, is that the boat manufacturers are making coral safe kind of products that if that boat were to sink, it's not going to affect that wildlife, and it becomes that habitat.
I would like to think that too. I really doubt that though.
Where like the wood chips are, right? The old ones are, and that makes sense, right? Maybe even the old metal, like just like the old military kind of, where it's pretty much all it is metal, would be fine.
Yeah.
But the like plastics, the non-natural elements, I think are bad. When you say shipwrecks, man, the one picture that comes to mind, and I know you've seen it, is the boat on Lake Mead where it's like stuck in the dirt, like straight up.
Oh yeah.
And you just see the trash by it, and it's like, that's the problem that I think about with these shipwrecks. So be interesting to see some of them, because there's the history is there for sure. It'd be cool to actually scuba dive and look down at these and be like, wow, this was blah 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 ship. You could still find gold, or you can.
Well, that's funny you bring that up, because I guess they still have like a big problem with like I'm going to use this term just because it kind of makes sense, and it's also ironic because it's this part, is the pirating of people plundering these shipwrecks, like going in and like stealing whatnot, plundering for whatever they can find in these shipwrecks, which you're not supposed to take stuff from the national parks, everybody.
That is interesting. It really is, right? Because I get that, right? You're not supposed to take things from the park. They're trying to preserve the history. They're trying to leave it the way it was, right? There's also, to me, when it comes to like boats and the laws of the sea, I feel like there are certain rights to those type of claims.
I know. I agree that I feel like there is, but I don't think so. Because back home in like Astoria, Seaside, that area, they found that Spanish ship. And the guy that found it, you would think he found it, he would have claim to it, or at least some of the things from that ship. But the state, there's like the way the laws are written, the government, the state, I think it's more U.S. government rather than the state government. they're basically taking like it all, and like even if he has like a plate that he can get in huge trouble for. Although I do believe he probably has a couple things as a memento, and rightfully so. I think he should be allowed to have a, I don't know, some plates or a cup or something. I mean, he just found a freaking ship.
Well, especially because you're right, they're missing for so long.
Yeah.
Some of those, people, because they drift and this happens in currents, and you're absolutely right. I mean, people are they have a right to a point, right? Like there's a certain point that, yeah, finders keepers, you're out in the woods, you found it, no one's around, it looks like it's been there for a while. Yeah, it's yours to have. I get it when it comes to like the natural though in national parks, right? Don't take coral from this.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like that's no, don't take shells. Don't take living creatures, living beings. But when it comes to the man-made beings, unless it's in a museum with the national parks, I think it's up for grabs in some sense.
Yeah.
It should be, at least.
I kind of agree with you. I get their argument though, like, well, it's part of the history of that park. Pirates have a thing in that parks, and so, or all these ships, they have a thing with that park. So it's like, yeah, you're taking away a part of the park in a sense, but it's man-made. It's
Right.
In reality, it's no different than finding a random coin that is from that time using your metal detector on the beach.
Well, exactly. And in reality, like take that ship, for example. For the US, they're going to say, well, this is for history or whatever, right? It's for a certain thing. And it's like, well, yeah, you only need 3 gold doubloons then to show, look, these all have the differences. You can keep them for your archives, but the rest should go to that finder or to that person that did the work for
them. Right.
And that to me is fair. But I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that is kind of a different combo. So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. Our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced, and it is also biodegradable, and it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, RUGARU10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
But yeah, no. So Biscayne, super cool park. But speaking of cool, it's time for cool shit in nature, which is an absolute treat for me. And I think I got actually I can't remember what I have for this one if I'm being honest.
I don't think nothing can top the Matt Buddy drumming one.
Oh, that's true. That is the
'Cause
coolest of all cool shit in nature. We'll have to get Matt Buddy to do it live for us.
they were down a drum guy, and I say, Matt, go. He's like, yeah, I'll go help out. And then we talk about it, man. You could see in the video where he's trying to sing along,
Yeah.
but he doesn't know the words.
Yeah, that's it. I think he even mentions that, he's
He's misappropriating his own culture. Look at the way his nose opens up. This is a seal here, everybody. Mark is showing me a seal video for cool shit in nature this week.
yeah. This, this
head.
guy's just poking his nose just out far enough to open it to allow him to get some air.
That's so cool. But it like close open. Well, and it's like you could tell like his body's built for the water because the way it closes so fast. It's like, where do those holes go?
Right. And they seal up. So no pun intended. But they really like lock up there so that way no water gets in. Because I don't know, I've had water in my nose. I don't like it. I'm sure seals feel the same way.
Probably, man. Look at they're so cute. My dog Benny reminds me of a seal.
Really?
Yeah, just the lazy kind of flopping around, the big body with short legs kind of thing.
Okay, I don't really see it, but good for you. But no, so the second one is not as cute and cuddly. In fact, actually, there's no animals in it. It's just kind of a sad story. And everyone's biggest fear when you're out camping.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did see this. The tent flat. Stake it down.
Yeah. Make sure you stake down your tents when you are out camping, because could very well turn into what happened to this guy here.
I love how he starts running one way and then it just like changes direction. It's going down the valley and then but at the same time too, they have the video going and it's almost like, did you stage this?
I don't know, man. I think that's hard to stage. What I honestly think is he's probably trying to take a video, because look at the framing in the back. He's probably trying to line up something for sunset that night.
Yeah, time lapse or something. But that's funny. I mean, honestly, though, it might be staked down and it rips up if you kind of look at the way the bottom of it moves.
I don't think so.
The way they bend, the like.
Yeah. For anyone that's just listening, we're watching a video of someone's tent literally flying away
in the wind.
Yeah.
On top of a mountain, almost to the point, like if it goes down the hill, like it's going to be a bitch to bring it back up kind of thing.
I know. You kind of want to know the rest of this story.
Right.
Because you're like, did they get the tent back? How far did the tent go? Like, is the tent still intact?
See, okay, and then I'm reading the Instagram post here. Sorry, I'm looking at like more now, and it goes, some tents weren't meant to be tamed, fly free. Like, go ahead, leave, right? And then they comment like, please remember the follow the 4-7 principles of leave no trace when enjoying the outdoors. Well, you're leaving a trace if you just let your tent fly free.
Oh, 100%, right? There's definitely, well, maybe that's trying to encourage people to stake down their tent.
Watch it blow away. I think it might be staked down.
I really don't think so. Look, I think it gets like stuck on a rock, which is
and it bends.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Because it moves a good bit before, and then it's like it almost like it catches on something. So, but anyways, if you're out camping next time, make sure stake down your tent. Even if you don't think it's going to be that windy, I just recommend it.
Well, that's fair. And, we're talking about the weather, getting back into Biscayne National Park. They say summer is the best time of year because the waters are clear, making for fantastic viewing in a glass bottom boat tour or even snorkeling. So go visit it when it's hot and sunny down there.
Yeah, no, this would be a great park to go to on a sunny day. Because it's all water, so you just swim around. Whether
It might even be a great park to pirate in, I've heard.
Yeah, super big park to pirate in. I mean, we talked about how people were pirating the plunders down in the water, but there's been a history of pirates there long before people stealing stuff from the shipwrecks. We're going to talk about probably the most famous pirate for this area, because he kind of made Biscayne his headquarters. And that is Black Cesar, an African pirate that made Biscayne his home. And this guy apparently really dominated the seas for a bit. Was like one of the most feared pirates in the area.
Violent, they say.
Yeah. So
well, it's interesting when you look at like these national parks, right? And the history of like living history of like people living in these parks, like, Glacier Park, people don't realize they're at Lake McDonald, kind of those cabins. People have personal cabins there that they were built before the park became a park. And so, yeah, you'd have these pirates, these beach hooligans back in the 1600s, 1700s doing this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There's even a guy, Israel Jones, who lived in the park. And he purchased Old Rhodes Key. And then he even purchased Totten Key to grow pineapples. So when you go to the park, you see some of his history. Which is interesting. You see the like development, but then you also see eventually the like, let's save this park.
Right. You do. Going back to the pirate part of it, if you're looking for something to do in this park, you really want to make a trip of it. You maybe even get a little rich off it if you succeed. Apparently, Black Cesar, he hid $6 million worth of gold somewhere in that park, and it has not yet been found.
See, I don't have $6 million. I only have 26 gold bars.
26 gold bar. Well, I don't know. I heard the facts I have, or the facts I read, says $6 million worth of gold. I feel like 26 gold bars would be more than 6 million
in today's market, maybe.
Well, yeah. You're probably right there. And inflation's going up too, so that is really just getting a better value as it sits. So maybe if you find it, you kind of just want to sit on it right now.
You find it, you put it in grandma's attic. Grandma passes away, and you say, "Oh my gosh, she's the keeper of the gold bar."
There you go. No,
Pass down as a
I guess the real question is, this one's for you there, Zach, is do you really think that the gold is there? Do you think it's actually hidden?
I'm going to go 50-50 on this one.
55? Well, you're boring.
No, because I think the gold has yet to be found. I haven't done my research, right? Because I'm sure like there is treasures in private collections that are undocumented on this earth.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I have treasures that are undocumented on this earth. You have treasures that are undocumented on this earth.
Oh, shoot. They're coming for us now.
Exactly. So my point is,
I think I heard a knock at the door right now.
It's either hidden somewhere else. I don't think it's hidden in the park. It's either hidden somewhere else, Well, maybe it's hidden in the park because it's protected there, right?
I don't know.
Or it's in a collection.
For me, I like to think it's there. I think it adds a little bit of extra flair to the park. It's one of those things. It's like at the end of the day, doesn't really change a whole lot of anyone's life if it is or isn't there. You have fun, go real life treasure hunt, you know?
Well, I'm thinking now that we're talking about this, that it's going to be found because the last time we're
Yeah,
talking about treasure was the treasure from Jack Stoof was his name, right?
yeah, the
Or Forrest
guy,
Fenn. Forrest
yeah.
Fenn's buried treasure. Jack Stoof was the guy, but he found it like last time we talked about it. So now we're talking about uh, Black Cesar.
Yeah,
And
probably they're gonna find it here in the next week or two.
that's what I mean, is we're going to be like, oh my God, like the Wandering Ways podcast, you heard it here first. And
Yeah, they're gonna start asking us to talk about every treasure that's out there. Next thing we're gonna talk about is what's that? The parachute guy.
up in Washington,
Yeah,
Oregon on the Columbia. The money mystery in the PNW.
yeah.
Jumped out of a plane.
I'm really bummer I'm blanking
Blanking.
it because they talk about it in the movie Without a Paddle. It's like the whole thing the movie's kind of based on.
Yeah, because they go and look for it.
Yeah, I keep
It
wanting to say Boone, but it's not Boone.
no.
Like,
DB Cooper.
yes, that's what it is. It's DB Cooper.
Yes, that is who it is. No, but there's plenty of those out in our world. I mean, I like to think there's treasure. I like to think there's treasure everywhere to be found. Because there is, there's a lot of people I think that have their secrets that are like, one day my family will find it, or one day
Yeah.
this will happen, but it never happens that way because the world just kind of moves on in a weird way. So is Black Cesar, and now thinking about that, like that's kind of a racist name. I think they named him that because he was black.
Yeah, well, he was on a slave ship that was heading to the markets there in Florida coast, and it crashed and he escaped, and he befriended a sailor. The two of them landed on a small island in the area, and so that's kind of how he got his start, so
And became just a fearless. That's why he was violent. He's like, I ain't going into the trade.
oh, 100%. And I don't blame him at all, man.
Dude,
he's
love it.
got to do what he's got to do to survive.
Love to hear those kind of stories.
Yeah, right. He just
I hope his treasure never is found, bitch.
there you go.
No, it's a good park. It's one I think, again, we were kind of talking about this. It's one that we would have to like cluster for ourselves. And you'd have to think about doing it. We were talking a little on the break of like, it would take you and I probably a day and a half in this park just because you'd want to give it that time for the snorkeling, I believe, or the scuba diving if we do. There's some cool tours, and I'm all down for spending time in these smaller parks where maybe you do just sit around for 2 hours doing nothing, kind of like we did at Devil's Tower, where it's like we just sat under the tower, we just lived life. And I look at like a place like Devil's Tower, a place like that KOA where we camped, and I believe the Sioux people and the people who visited that area camped there and visited that spot for a reason, and when you can do that and you can experience just the basic things of life in those places.
Yeah, it's a perk of this being a smaller park is I think because it is smaller and there's maybe not as much to see, you go into it with this like, okay, let's not hurry up to see all of the park. It's like, okay, we can see all of the park and we can take our time and still see like it all. So, that's, I think, a perk of the smaller parks. So you can really get down and snorkel, kayak, check out the manatees, check out the iguanas, all of that. Check out weird islands that are there that maybe have like some weird person that lived on had started a fishing business. I don't know. But
Right.
uh
There's even nature journaling, they say. They have a nature journaling club. And I see the questioning look on your face, and they say it's mostly about taking the time to really observe something and transfer those observations onto a paper as a sketch, painting, poem, or prose, and often a full combination of those things.
okay, then no, that makes more sense now. I was just curious what they meant by nature journaling. Like, is it just journaling about nature, which is essentially what it is, which is
But
very
that's nice. I mean, that's taking that time to enjoy the park and to really look at it and do it. And I mean, you and I mean, I know you're not a big fisherman, but they even offer fishing and lobstering in the park. So it is possible.
lobstering. That would be a fun one.
Would you be down to lobster?
Yeah, I'd go catch a lobster or two.
Would you eat it?
Oh yeah, I love lobster. Lobster's tasty.
Well, good.
Lobster's tasty, crab's tasty. I'm a big seafood fan.
Yeah, you're a seafood guy because you're a coastie.
Yeah, love me the coast. Um, but anyways, it is getting towards that time. It is time for me to be that guy, and I'm being that guy because it's time for the final words. We've done another edition of the ABCs of the national parks with a good old trip to Biscayne, Biscayne, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I will hopefully by the next time we do an episode learn how to pronounce it. But I think it's worth going to. But anyways, final words, my guy.
Um, it's one of those parks. It's a small park. There's a lot to do. I shouldn't say there's not a lot to do. There's a lot to do there. It's definitely worth your time. It's a place the locals like to go see. It's a different culture, when you get out onto like those type of outside the urban settings, um, in the remote parts of the country. It's Florida. You got Maine, you got the Pacific Northwest, you got the Southwest, you got the plains. There's all these remote places that you can go experience and see and just be a part of. And I think this is one, I don't think it's happening soon in our lifetime, like within the next 5 years, for both monetary reasons as well as just kind of planning reasons of other places we would like to go. But I get why people move to Florida. I get why people retire to Florida. So I could see it being a place later on in my life being able to go to and experience. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too strenuous if I want to hike around it. If I want to scuba, I can be an 80-year-old scuba diver if I like. If I practice at it. You got to train like Mark. You got to be in the gym every day like Mark if you want to. But maybe one day, we'll see. Anyway, man, I want to pass it over to you.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for sticking it out through the entire episode. This is a great park. I think if you're in the area, you should go check it out. It's definitely worth it. Does it crack my top 5 like Big Bend did when we did that ABCs? No, it doesn't. It's not anything to down on it. There's just other parks I really want to see. It's got my vibe though. It's all about the ocean. It's got pretty fish. Taking care of the ocean is big. We need to save our oceans, and so that way we can have more places like Biscayne. So going out there, picking up some trash, not trying to pollute all that, use less plastic, all of that good things. Because if you help the ocean, you help the earth. And if you help the earth, you help you help me, you help everybody around in it. So, and that's all good stuff because we're all children of Mother Nature. And that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.